Well, Harry was supposedly photographed exiting St. George's Chapel yesterday, paying tribute to Queen Elizabeth, but I have a lot of doubts about this picture. I don't think it's real. Oh, and by the way, if it was real, he was wearing just a shirt. What I found interesting is that one of the usual snakes on this job tweeted about this picture and a member of the public that took it before the grounds were open to the public. So, wait, what? How does that make sense? And Audrey Forbes asked him directly about that, and well, she got blocked instantly because you know how these people react to common sense questions. And a random Karen ran this image through an AI detector, and well, it did not pass the test. I will be doing a live stream tomorrow to give you all my insights about this picture. Welcome back, my 153,000 Royal Rogues plus the close to 1 million who haven't subscribed yet. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And to cover up Harry's Photoshop tracks, we got a PR campaign, guns blazing to make it seem like Harold was the prodigal grandson, presenting his visit to London where he honored his grandmother. Oh, yes, I'm sure this is exactly like 1 year ago when he had an argument with Charles about Meghan not being invited to see the Queen because Gingerbread did not have the balls to tell her to behave, and this was not a casting call or a pap opportunity. No, he actually told Charles, who was beside the Queen dying. Harold told his father, "Don't ever speak about my wife that way." I mean, in some ways, one has to take this kind of claims with a grain of salt because I don't think he's got what it takes to talk like this, unless he had Meghan right by his side, that is. So Harry wants to look like the good guy after they used the Queen's Platinum Jubilee for their own gain, and now there are reports that the late Queen Elizabeth waited with a cake for Lily but was left hanging on her great grandchild's birthday. And yeah, I know you're going to roll your eyes as soon as I tell you this comes from Paul Burrell, but bear with me on this. The next day, she asked if maybe they'd like to come up for tea again and was told they've gone. Burrell remembers. "What do you mean they've gone?" She said. "They've gone back to America." "Oh no, they never said goodbye." Well, that absolutely sounds like the Harkles. And by the way, I'm still adamant about not believing that the Lilibet meets Lilibet ever happened. I think the Harkles pulled the plug on everything when they were denied the picture. But when it comes to having a picture, you know that Meghan is willing to take matters in her own hands, and this time is driving a car with her own hands. Methane is seen driving her car as she heads out in Monte Shit Show, while hypocrite Harold makes solo trip to the UK to pay his respects to the Queen. Please give me a break. What level of desperation is this after being rejected at the Invictus Games? It's obvious that she was copying the OG Catherine in that iconic picture driving in Windsor, spotted for the first time after the Queen's death. You know, more coincidences. And this reminds me of a meme that I came up with while the Queen was still alive. The plot for the next Fast and Furious movie has just been released, and yes, you can hear the Queen's engine roaring. To make things even more lavish in this non-royal drama, we also got reports that Harry and Meghan will stay in luxury £2,000 a night presidential suite at five-star hotel for Invictus Games in Germany this weekend. That's what I don't get. Wasn't Meghan staying at home? Is this some kind of tactic to make a surprise appearance at the Invictus Games closing ceremony after being erased from the schedule? Because other royalists, including Lady Colin Campbell, have suggested that Meghan had a long list of absurd requirements for the hotel where they were staying. And who could forget the pages of the book Revenge by Tom Bauer, where he lays out how much of a celebrity she thought of herself years ago when she was dating Harry? Imagine that now multiplied. And you know that when it comes to the Monte Shit Show duo, the headlines can get pretty cringe pretty quickly, and this is not an exception. Sausages at war. Prince Harold jokes things are going to be competitive between him and Meghan, as she will be supporting Nigeria in the Invictus Games after making up her 43% Nigerian heritage last year, as he embarrasses himself at opening ceremony. No, seriously, who came up with this? And why is Gingerbread making a gesture like he is a politician said make ayahuasca great again. I'm telling you, my job can be quite hard at times, watching Harry and Meghan every day putting up with all their drivel. But from now on, I'm going to use this picture every time my brain tries to make sense of it. Shh, don't worry, just go with it and make memes. And I haven't shared memes in a while, so I had to post this one from Lean Meme Machine on Twitter. Well, a man child. Yeah, it's horrific, but that's the point. Believe me, it's worse in real life. And a picture that is real, but a meme in itself is the people protesting against the monarchy yesterday. Yeah, you have to give her at least 1 star for trying. How pathetic. And TV News ran a poll to see who was everybody's favorite royal male, and with more than 600 votes, William was leading the pack. But I have a question about these results. Maybe they are a bit biased towards users on Twitter. Maybe you have a different opinion. And how come Andrew and Harry are over Charles? Maybe this is another meme in disguise. And almost out of the blue, we got this amazing interview from The Good, The Bad, and The Rugby channel, a podcast in which Mike Tyndall is one of the hosts, with none other than the Princess Royal, William, and Catherine. And as the account Women of Windsor commented, everyone acknowledging that Princess Anne knows more about rugby than anyone else in the room is just classic. The reactions did not wait, and in the words of Canel, the Prince and Princess of Wales mark the start of the Rugby World Cup with family alongside the Princess Royal and Mike Tyndall in the Windsor Castle Green Room. It used to be a favorite of Her Majesty the Queen. These pictures are everything. And I concur. I think royalists want more of this kind of appearances and conversations in laid-back settings such as this. And I also want to talk tonight about the royal family, especially about the ones that we refer to as the Fab Four, and this sort of campaign online, both in social media and tabloids, to divide them. And I cannot help but remember the plot of Marvel's Civil War movie, in which a man with a vengeance knew he could not destroy the Avengers, as he was just a man, but he managed to make them crumble from within. Of course, I'm not saying that the royal family itself is going to crumble because of online pressure. I'm talking about how I see more and more these two factions fighting each other, basically pinning the king and the queen against the prince and princess of Wales. Well, I, for one, I'm not going to do that. I will keep betting on the unity of the royal family, because I'm sure that's what Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth would have wanted. My Royal Roguies, remember that you can download my free 100 body language tips in the description of this video, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Much love and bless.